Bearers, which is really a magnificent study of 50 black girls from Ethiopia. They're being pursued by men who want to marry them. They don't want to marry them, and they make a plea to the king to please protect them. They go into a temple and declare they're Athenians. Pardon me, they declare they're Hellenes. That's different than Athenians. Hellenes. Well, a Hellene, according to Aristotle, you do not gain by birth or by language, but it's a state of mind. And therefore the king has a very interesting question on his mind. Look here, if I declare that they're Hellenes, I have to defend them. That's my duty. That's what my honor is connected with fulfilling the demand that we protect Hellenes. If we protect them, we have to go to war with their suitors who are coming on ships and they want to capture them, bring them back. And so the drama takes place, the whole drama takes place of how do you tell when someone is a Hellene or not? And they're 50, they're beautifully, evidently they're beautifully attired and they're described very beautifully in robes and garments. So the whole drama is how can you tell when a woman is a Hellene, especially in this case, an African woman. And they do it, by the way, they do it in a magnificent, I won't tell you the end, but it's a magnificent way in which they display, they have mindfulness. That's the whole game of Hellene, to be mindful. Yeah, and that's a Hellene. That's what it is to be a Hellene.
Well, this is probably a stupid question, but when Troy had the big war with the over Helen of Troy,
yeah.
Is there some kind of symbolic connection here?
With
the Hellenes and Helen of Troy?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it's much deeper than that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, when the Christians came on board history, when they emerged in history, the early writings of the people who were watching Christianity emerge, the interesting comment that was made is, they are only two races. You're either a Hellene or a Jew. And now there's a chance for a third new race, Christians. So in those days, people saw the Greeks as separate and distinct, and Jews as separate and distinct as a separate people. Different state of mind.
What about the Romans? They were considered Hellenes? They were considered beyond the pale?
Yeah, they're beyond the pale.
Well, the Christians are kind of a mixture of the...
Yeah. So, now this is what I'm going to do is explore the idea, what is it to be a Hellene? That's what we're doing. That's what we do. So what is it to be a Hellene? It's really what is the significance of words? That's what it comes down to. Two things, words and states of mind. What's the value in putting words on states of mind? So I chose 4 words to play tonight. All right, so we're going to explore this loftiest of all notions, the good and the one. There's one idea, of course, we talked about before, and that's the idea of condition. The condition for things precedes the things. The conditions for fire precede a fire. The conditions of anything must necessarily precede the thing, and the thing cannot emerge without those conditions. Therefore, the idea of conditions and cause are linked, and that's what I'm going to explore. Now, behind both of these words, just to make sure we're together, is if there are a number of things that have a quality, then whatever is the source of that quality must precede it. If there is redness among things, then red must precede redness. That's all. If there are things that are red, well then or redness, that's what we mean when we say red. The quality red, that's redness. If there is redness among things, like those books are red, then there must be this curious thing, red, that must precede the application of the discovery and the appearance of redness wherever it is. If each thing, if if each thing is a 1, then, right, or if each thing is a 1 or has a oneness, then the idea of the 1 must precede it. Same language. If everyone is pursuing what they consider to be good, then that quality of goodness which they are pursuing presupposes the existence of a good independent of the goodness. Now, that's a takeoff point, and we can talk about that later, but that's presupposed in this exploration. Now, here we go. Going back to a great principle, terms vary, relations are constant. I want to make sense of that. In all explorations of a Platonic nature, the ultimate term is the good or the 1. Now, the one principle which governs all of this reflection is that in any progression of one thing from another, there is always a likeness between the thing that produced it and the product. Likeness is the first governing quality, likeness. Therefore, if there is such a thing as the good or the 1, it must follow then that there is going to be a generation from the good or the 1, and necessarily it's going to be goodness or oneness. In the same way, if there is goodness, there has to be some sense of perfection, completeness, wholeness, whole, unity, unitary, union. See, all of these things are generated from one another, and we can talk about the way in which they emerge naturally in a progression. But I just wanted to set that out because we're going to be using those terms in a few minutes. All right, we're going to make sense of this now. Terms vary, relations are constant. Now, here are the 4 ideas. Bread, lovers, learning, contemplation. And what are we going to do? We're going to use this language over here, and we're going to explore it under the idea that relations are constant, the terms may vary. Okay? Now, would you agree there is something very interesting about the judgment wholeness? Like everybody likes bread. What is the highest judgment you can make about bread? It has wholeness. Would you agree? Look here. It has wholeness.
That depends on the bread.
That's right. That's right. But aren't we all interested if someone tells us, hey, there's a bakery that really has the most excellent bread? We raise an eyebrow and we're interested.
Staff of life.
Right?
Bread is the staff of life.
Aren't we interested in bread? Good bread? Not homemade bread made